Hey, what's up YouTube? Today we have this new character that I've been perfecting. This is going to be the guy I'm going to be playing the Gauntlet League. Now, if people don't really know what the Gauntlet League is, I can introduce it real fast. So I know a lot of people are bored about the league and they don't really know what they want to do. And luckily for you guys, Zizarin and the rest of the community have partnered up with Shopify Rebellion for the next iteration of the Gauntlet starting June 12th at 7 a.m. in the morning. It's actually the perfect time for me personally because I live in California. And 7 a.m. is when a normal human being works or wakes up. So that is when I will be waking up and participating in an event. So I don't even really need to do that much to fix my sleep schedule. Wait a moment, my sleep schedule is completely messed up right now and I'm actually still awake and I'm recording this video at 1:30 a.m. and then doing some editing. So let's see how big the prize pool is. Whoa, the prize pool is quite low. Well, that is concerning, but hopefully with these people fundraising it, it'll be a lot higher. Like last time it was like $8,000 already. So how it works is Shopify will double the amount that's raised by the community. So usually it hits like 20K. So it's a long way to go. But I believe in the community. Maybe people are just having some PoE, what's it called, hangover. Especially with how Ultimatum League turned out. But yeah, if you guys are bored with the league, make sure to check this out. It is a hardcore SSF event, and it does have a bunch of mods on it, which include monster life, increased area of effect, increased monster damage, onslaught, some extra damage, and then 20% to all res. It's actually just 20%, so you have to get more resist. It's not actually you're playing with negative minus 20% max, which would be near impossible. So the prize pool, so you see that amount that they have for the PayPal, this gets divided up into 8% for the top witch, 4% for the second witch, 3% for the third witch, and so on and so forth. So this really incentivizes people to try out different classes. So most of the tryhards and the best players in the world will be playing duelists to try to get first place and the glory of being rank 1 overall and getting this Gauntlet trophy. And you also get a 2% bonus, so you get 10% overall. This is much better than before, because before the first place person was getting 30% and pretty much just taking everyone's money. And yeah, that is a nice change, and that's why it's called a class gauntlet and not a champion gauntlet or slayer gauntlet or whatever the most meta slammers are playing. And let's see, you have to join the league. So before this was a private league, and now it's just gonna be you can sign up anytime. There's no, or you don't even need to sign up. You just join the league when it starts. It's an event league like a mayhem race or a 2-week flashback, something like that. It lasts for 10 days. So you can get all these cool prizes. You can get a new webcam. You can get a new computer. Maybe it will help you run PoE better. It probably won't help that much, but you never know. You can get some armor packs, some cool mystery boxes, 1,300 of them. Well, you won't be getting 1,300. You'll get one of them. And yeah, it is a perfect event to try out if you've been bored of PoE. So now you might be wondering, what should I play during the Gauntlet, right? Well, I had that question asked myself. I was asking it to myself, and I came up with an answer. So I wanted to show you a little bit more about my character and its current gear overview. So my name is Kobe Black Mamba Gaunt. I was trying to do Gauntlet, but it was too long. Gaunt is like what, something, I don't even know, like skinny or something. But I'm a Marauder, so I'm anything but skinny. So bam. So I'm level 87 currently, and the character has been going pretty well. I have made a lot of tech switches. Now I am a Berserker, which means that I take a lot more damage, and I'll talk about that later about why I am a Berserker. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm still playing a slammer. I believe that slams are the best because you have access to the fortify wheel. You don't need to take a bunch of damage nodes to do damage. You just need some war cry nodes and you can stack HP. And this area of the tree has a bunch of HP. These nodes right here for fortify effect and armor are invaluable to staying alive. And all of this HP you can get 220% on the tree. And you also have a lot of armor. Like my character has 7,253 armor, and with this up it would have like 58% or 17k, which would help out the Vol Molten Shell. I actually need to get Vol Molten Shell. I've been lazy and haven't corrupted it yet, but it's a pretty good layer of defense currently. So let's see my gear. So my gear is pretty bad. Now this is oh wait, let me get rid of this. People always get mad at me. I have these mods showing up, but yeah. I am using a Karui chopper. This weapon is slower than the slowest thing you can find on the ground. I don't think you can make a weapon slower than a Karui chopper. Unless it's like some niche unique or something. But this weapon has a really high top end, which is really important for slams because you want a really big hit. Now, the problem with having a low attack speed is that you get locked in place. And if you know in real life, if you're trying to dodge something and your character is too slow, or you're too slow, you're gonna get hit by it. Like you're playing dodgeball and you're wearing like a weight vest, you're probably gonna get hit by the balls. So the same exact concept applies in PoE. You don't have move speed, you don't have attack speed, you're gonna get locked in the character animation, and the monster's gonna throw a big ball at you to dodge, and you're not gonna be able to dodge it, and you're gonna get hit. So Karui chopper, pretty good, but there's an attack speed problem, and we'll get around to it. Ideally, this would have like an insane amount of fizz damage, a percent fizz, flat fizz, and attack speed. But however, my character is still kind of young, level 87, so it doesn't have the attack speed roll on the Karui chopper yet. But it is very vital to get it. Now, this is just a ring with some resists, and then I think I got this from... You can see that this is a June unveiled item because Cold and Chaos Res 18% is extremely high. You can see suffix mod of the order. I got this from a June mission, and then I got this one. I think I just found it. Oh, I should probably bless it up. And I think I got this from, I don't know, I just found it on the ground. I guess you do find some good rares on the ground. So this is a 114 life helm. So most of your pieces in the Gauntlet, if you're playing a slammer, you want to have double life rolls. So you want to have the hybrid life roll, and then you want to have a T1 life roll, and you can get up to 120 life on a piece of gear or more. So it has some chaos res. I could craft on some resist, but I chose to craft on armor. Probably not a smart idea. But armor is kind of nice for molten shell. Now this chest piece, I think I just used one essence of a strength essence, and I just rolled this. I got pretty lucky, and I 5-linked it. The roll is pretty good, but what we're looking for is a better chest. You want to get a chest with ailment immunity, and I'm not at the point where I can get that yet. And I actually haven't really identified any June items with ailment immunity or a chance to avoid ailments, and you can also get percent life on it. So ideally you would get a life chest, and it will also have fortify effect when you focus. So you can see later on there are some gear upgrades still to be had. Essences are very important to farm for this amulet. This has attack damage leech as mana, so I can sustain my attacks because I'm not using a mana flask. So you need some mana leech from somewhere. Now, if you want a really good amulet, you want Fortify effect, and that will come from an essence, but I still haven't set up my Atlas to farm for Hayward Hamlet. So for the Gauntlet, you should have kind of like a checklist of items you want to get, and then you want to have a goal, like a game plan, right? You don't want to go into the game without a plan. You don't want to just wing it, right? So you want to have these things you want to farm, and then you want to finish farming it. So basically, the OP area is Hayward Hamlet, of course. You can get essences, you can get harvest, and it's just the best of both worlds, right? Because we need a lot of reforged fizz to fix our Karui chopper, and then we need some essences to make our amulet, and essences are also really good for just rolling gear in general. And then I have a spiked pair of gloves. I would always use this pair of gloves. I would probably want some more life, more resist, and maybe some attack speed on it. This is a bad belt. I would use a leather belt or Stygian belt, and it would probably be Elder or Hunter for some percent life mod. Now this boots are pretty bad actually. I don't know why I'm wearing them. I think it just has a lot of resist. The life roll is extremely low. And yeah, it doesn't have an open suffix or prefix to craft on. So you can see my gear is very, very budget. It's not really budget, it's all SSF. This flask is actually an atrocity, and I should probably reroll with alts. And I have grounding, staunching, and heat. And this is actually terrible. I just have been lazy with the flask. If it was the real league, I would not be like this. So you probably want like heat on this one, and then you want warding on this. So pretty much before you get ailment immunity, you need adrenaline, you need grounding, you need staunching, and this can be switched out once you get a CB jewel, which is pretty important. And then you want heat, and lastly, and you want warding. So those are the main ones. I'm actually not sure how I get a corrupted blood jewel. I think I'll just have to corrupt it. But am I really getting that many vol orbs? I have 6. I think it's like a 1 in 50 chance to corrupt. You could find one from doing the ultimatums, but ultimatums are generally pretty rippy. Now, what are the links of the build? So I'm playing Earth Shatter right now, and I'm playing Earth Shatter with a Berserker, but I'm also leveling up some Earthquake gems, so you want to level up all your gems to make sure you can vol orb it to 21, and maybe level up some backups that you can use of these support gems, so when you flip the support gems, you don't find yourself incredibly weak. This is the wrong way to play the game. You should definitely be leveling more gems than I am. I'm just lazy in this practice run. But maybe I shouldn't be, because they do say perfect practice makes the best practice. Or is that the saying? I don't really know. But yeah, this is a pretty okay-ish gear. I don't think I've been playing this character very long. But I'm only level 87. And you won't really be doing all the bosses, and you won't have everything set up until you're level 96. So there's still a lot of room for improvements for this character. So right now, if I just look at it, I want a Fortify Helm with Crusader, Fortify Effect Amulet with Essences. I want to farm some Harvest to get a way better axe with attack speed. And I probably just want to spam some Harvest to get my boots. So I have a crafting section where I have these items. And I'm saving a one-hander in case I get the unique shield, which I'll talk about later. But basically, this build is a very fun to play, and I'm going to go into why I chose the Berserker Ascendancy. So many people probably think that playing Berserker is suicide because they always associate it with this node right here, which is Aspect of the Carnage, 10% increased damage taken, 40% more damage. I personally do not believe that you can survive consistently by taking this node. Because 10% increased damage taken is absolutely crazy. It is a multiplier for all damage that you take. So in a rippy map, it will just be even more rippy. And it just feels really terrible. And I know 40% more damage is a lot to lose out on. But when I played with this node, it felt like there was a lot of sketchy situations. And as soon as I unspec'd out of it, it became a lot less sketchy. Now you might be wondering, why am I not playing Champion or Slayer? And frankly, it is because I'm tired of playing those builds. Or not playing, I wanted to try a different ascendancy, and I felt that Berserker is actually pretty good in a weird way. Now, I am doing this, I'm taking Warbringer, so this is the War Cries, grant 10 rage per 5 power if you have less than 25 rage. So this allows you to get full rage if you have a lot of mobs around you, and you also get more power when it's a unique mob, so you can actually generate a lot of rage when even fighting single target. Increase War Cry speed. Now, this part is not possible. It is possible if you go staves and go crit and go block. However, this is not something I'm going to try, or I will try it out in the practice league, but it's actually kind of a different build, and I personally believe that Rite of Ruin will feel a lot better, and I'll explain why shortly. And you also take Defy Pain. So Defy Pain works. You gain Defiance for 10 seconds on losing life to an enemy hit. So basically, when you get Defiance, you get increased armor. So you can get up to 250% increased armor. And then you also get 50% increased maximum total life recovery per second. So if you use Soul Tether, this would actually be really, really strong. And I am planning to use Soul Tether with this build later on. But the problem with this is that at 10 Defiance, you take reflective physical damage equal to maximum life, then lose all Defiance. So you pretty much just take your full life as damage. Now, how can you mitigate this? You can mitigate it with armor, so it's at 58% already, and then you can mitigate it with reflect. So later on, you can probably take risk awareness. You can also use a chest that's warlords for reflect immunity, although that's going to be very, very hard to roll and probably not realistic. And then you can also take you go passive on a tree. So that will reduce it a lot. I think if you just took these nodes, it would already be 30%, 60%, 85% reduction. And that's probably worth it because this node is pretty insane. 50% increased maximum total life recovery per second from Leech is pretty nutty. And you can always have it up with Soul Tether. And the percent increased armor puts it on par with the Champion node. But yeah, I mean, it's a very good node. And it is just one layer of defense that we can possibly have, and it is actually the only node that we can actually take that this thing does nothing because we are RT. And this thing does nothing because it makes us take too much damage. The only other thing you could do is you could unspec out of it and just take 2 travel nodes, but that just sounds bad. So now you have this one which craves a slaughter, which makes you gain a lot of rage. So you gain 1 rage when you hit with an attack, and you get plus 10 to your maximum rage. And then Rite of Ruin is the one that no one usually uses, and I actually tried it out, and it is actually really, really strong. So this gives you stun immunity, and between this and Soul of the Bride King, you shouldn't have so much problems with stun immunity. Obviously, the worst case scenario can still happen where you get stunned and died, but this makes it a lot less likely. Now, what this node does is it triples the effect of rage. So when you have 70 rage, because I also took these nodes down here, which makes you lose rage slower. So this means that I can sustain Berserk for an insanely long amount of time, even on single target. And I will pretty much just always be pressing Berserk on cooldown. So the cooldown time is 4 seconds, so I'll have 4 seconds downtime of Berserk on boss fights. And it should be up almost every other time that I'm... Like, as long as this thing is off cooldown, I'll be pressing it, and I'll be able to maintain Berserk for quite a while, even on single target. And it will be interesting to see how this works out on Uber Aziri and boss fights when I test it out, because it is a lot smoother to do bossing when you have this much rage and move speed and attack speed. And it feels amazing to play. So you might be wondering, how do you deal with lose 0.1% of life? Because I have 70 rage total, so that means I'll be losing 7% of life per second per rage. But you have to see it's while you're not losing rage. And since I will always be losing rage when I press Berserk, I will never really have to deal with the downside of this. And this also will get cancelled out by when you have Soul Tether later on. So I believe this node gives you comparable, not comparable damage. Obviously, Aspect of Carnage is insane, but it does not have the downside of making you take an insanely higher max hit. And it also gives you stun immunity, and it also gives you move speed, most importantly. And move speed and attack speed are literally everything in the build. So if you have 70 rage, you have 35% attack speed, because it's 1% attack speed per 2 rage. So 35%, you can multiply it by 3 because of Rite of Ruin. So that means you would get, what? You would get like almost 100+% attack speed from having max rage. And that helps so much in dodging stuff. And I think it will be a pretty big game changer, especially on Uber Aziri when you can't actually like stay still for that long and like be locked in your attack animation because of how fast the stuff comes out. And I believe that this will make a difference in bossing just in general, and it also makes it a lot more fun to play. Like you'll see, I'll just show you like a map real fast, and you can see that it is actually incredibly fast playstyle, and it is very enjoyable to play. But yeah, Slayer is probably better if you're trying to win. But know what? This is like probably one of the better Marauder builds that I could possibly do. And the difference between first place overall and first place of your class is not that big of a difference. And I really enjoyed playing with this, and it really felt like I was playing a softcore character of how fast it was. Hopefully in the mapping demonstration you could see how amazingly smooth it is to play, and it really just looks like a softcore character. It almost reminds me of a self-chill Berserker, because you could pretty much keep Berserk up almost the entire time. Meaning that you don't even have to deal with the downside of this node. And I think with Soul Tether, this node's downside will just be completely gone. So basically, Berserker has a lot of benefits. It also kind of has stun immunity because of the rage thing. It's not guaranteed, but it's better than nothing. And having Unwavering Stance is kind of bad, because with Jade Flask, you have like, if you have like reflexes where you can have better flasks because I'm ailment immune, you would have like 40 to 50% evasion. And anyone who's played an Aura Stacker, you know how important evasion is, right? It feels a world of difference between having 50% or 40% evasion than not having it. And it is really, really big, especially when you stack it with Quartz Flask with percent chance to dodge. And I really enjoyed playing it, and hopefully you can see in the mapping that if you're going to try something out, maybe you can try this build out. I'll probably do some other build guides for other Gauntlet builds you can play. But I believe this is kind of a... I know most people did this Berserker build with a one-hander and shield. I do think the build is good with the shield, but the shield is hard to farm and you have to do a lot of lighthouse maps. So in the coming days, I will be trying this out a little more and trying to fix up the HP. It's kind of low HP. I want to have like 7.5, preferably 8.5k HP before I start bossing. Probably don't need these damage nodes because the damage should be there, but right now I'm just using this for onslaught. Maybe I can get a medium cluster with Onslaught on Warcry for boss fights. But we'll see what happens. But I'm going to show you this video of a map clear with this setup, and just so you can see how amazing playing a Berserker really is.
Blessings.
So I have to turn on my auras real fast. Oh yeah, I have an extra aura. So I have Vitality here. Now you see in the beginning of the map, I'm just running through. And I pop up Berserk immediately. You can see how fast this character is, right? Is this even a hardcore Gauntlet build, or is it like a softcore build? So you can see that Berserk is still up, and now it's finally down, right? But it's down for a short while. And then immediately it's up again. And then you can see how slow the rage degens, right? And it also makes the damage a lot better on a build when it wouldn't be so good. Because my gear is honestly bad. Like, my weapon is some dog. So you can see the build moves very fast.
Go for at least the third round this time?
You can see the rage actually degens pretty slowly because I took those rage nodes on the tree. And clearing maps fast is pretty big, right? Because it allows you to get into endgame faster and start rolling the higher tier item. And just having your atlas set up faster, meaning that you can farm the essences. But man, when I was playing with Aspect of the Carnage, it felt really bad. I felt like my character was just on the brink of death constantly. And the best part about Berserk is the fact that you actually take like, what is it? You take like 20% less damage. I'm not really sure how much less damage you take at a level 20 gem, but 20% less damage is insane amounts of defense, especially when you consider that this buff is going to be almost up nearly, not 24/7, but it's going to be up the majority of the mapping. So it makes you incredibly tanky. And I'm not sure how it will fare in bossing compared to the other builds, but so you can see right now I don't have any rage, right? But as soon as I press Berserk, and then you can generate rage every time you Warcry, and it's just like, I feel like I'm playing a softcore build, honestly. It's like, it runs just as fast as my Aura Stacker. I mean, Berserk has always been really OP because it's a movement speed multiplier. And this is with like a bad adrenaline flash. So this boss is probably not the best showcase because it has phases, but the Berserk is not up. Put down this stuff. So you can see the Berserk is still up on this boss fight. I'm actually messing up the... So now, press it again. So let's see, does it last the rest of this fight? So you can see it lasted the entire time of that boss fight. So during the boss fight, you're taking 19% less damage taken. You have more attack speed, and you could pretty much keep it up for the duration of the boss fight. But obviously during like the Uber Elder and Azerian stuff, you're not going to have it up 24/7. But having it up for most of the time is a great way to actually stay alive. But anyhow, that's gonna end the map clear. It's not the best showcase, but I didn't really cherry pick it. And I hope that helped you understand how this character works and my philosophy in building it. I hope everyone enjoyed the map clear. It is really fun to play. Like, usually I don't play off stream because I'm pretty bored of the game at the moment, but that was actually refreshingly fun to play. I was actually only like 83 when I logged off, and I got some levels real fast. And I actually tried this off stream because I've got the Uber Lab done, and I was like, why not? And it actually makes me much more excited to play the Gauntlet now that I know the build can be faster and it's not like some super slow slammer. And it's actually faster and tankier. So if anyone wants to try it out, I'll leave a pop of my current character down below. It's a huge work in progress. So I'll make some more adjustments. I might try the crit thing out. Probably not, because I don't think you actually get the crit nodes if you want to play the setup. So no crit staff. It's either you go crit staff with these or you just play the infinite berserk thing. Not infinite, but it lasts a long time. But I'm pretty pumped for the gauntlet, and if you have any questions, be sure to check out my stream. I stream every day. And feel free to ask me about any pops or any builds if you plan on playing the gauntlet. I will probably be maybe theory crafting another poison bladefall blade blast build for the gauntlet, because someone showed me a pretty good pop, and I kind of like the clear of the poison blade blast. Like, as much as I like pure bossing builds, I also like being able to clear the map fast. Even though this is a boss kill event, it is fun to clear maps fast and get everything set up. But you can see the gear I have is pretty awful, and the character is pretty strong. But we will see how it fares in boss fights, because that's what actually matters, right? Being able to take down all the bosses in the gauntlet and coming out victorious. But anyhow, everyone, thanks for watching the video, and if you like the content, be sure to like and subscribe. I stream every day, and I'll see you there. And I hope you find more mirrors and exalts than me. And see you later.